This is gonna be tough. Like I left the steak on a little too long. I hurt my teeth on it.
Gonna be tough, like a brand that sells sheds.
Sheds.
Holy shed.
Holy sheds. You won't believe this shed.
Shed. You won't believe this shed. Dun, dun, dun. We're
Dude,
writing a musical.
why are
Hold
we
on.
not?
Best thing about Oregon so far has been all the local commercials. It's nothing but local commercials. So it's just families standing outside of their store wearing pickle costumes being like, "You're in a pickle if you don't come down here." You know what I mean? Like, it's hilarious, dude.
Damn it. That alone, I want to be there for that community.
Yeah, it made me realize how much fucking effort and money Vegas companies put into their commercials, to the point where it's like, whoa, like even the car dealerships out here, it's just like, hey, I'm Big Bob, welcome to, it's like they got the wacky waving guy behind them.
Dude, we have the Knockvy lawyer, where like his commercial for Super Bowl was like $150,000 cars lined up with women in tight black dresses, and he's
like white lions.
We win lawsuits, and it's like, you're a fucking lawyer for accidents. Like, why? You're not a goddamn superhero. He thinks he's Iron Man. Like,
no,
he's
genuinely.
always like, we fight for justice.
Oh, you're so like, right. And he even kind of has like the Tony Stark beard and stuff. I know
hair.
which one exactly you're talking about.
He thinks he's Iron Man. He's like, I'm Iron Man. It's like, you probably don't even go to court. You probably just own the law firm. That's why your name's on it. You're really rich. You're successful. You'll never be Iron Man.
It's okay, man. I mean, hey, shit, maybe one day he'll afford enough to buy that suit. You never know. Okay, real quick. Welcome everyone to the Neon Valley Podcast.
Hey!
This is episode 47.
God damn it.
Damn, I was so confident coming into this too. Thank you everyone for joining us. This is the show where two friends kind of just hang out and talk about stuff. You said you were excited to bring some topics today. So did you want to dive right into that?
Especially because this is actually a callback to one of our episodes. There was a real life happening of the Truman Show in Japan. And it started before the film even hit theaters.
Wait, so the guy didn't know? The guy doesn't know? The guy didn't know?
So it's a little bit different. It wasn't the whole setup of being in this city. What happened was, and I want to get his name because his story is crazy. So this article from Meredith Blake from AOL.com. Not sponsored.
I don't think AOL needs it. They're doing too well. I don't need sponsors.
They're doing too AOL.
Oh.
Why are we not in marketing?
I don't know, man.
So, Tsuchiya Nasubi was a upstart comedian trying to get his foot in the door, doing a bunch of, auditions, and he got an audition and they told him, okay, you need to come with us. So they blindfolded him. They took him, and he didn't really know what was happening, but the idea was he was going to be on a game show where he was put in an apartment. He was given a certain amount of necessities to live, but the only other necessities he would ever get would come from him winning sweepstakes. So, especially in the 90s, in the back of magazines, there was little cards that you could write in to win just random stuff. And so he had to get all of his necessities from these sweepstakes.
So like real sweepstakes. So he actually had to apply for these sweepstakes.
Yes. So there was just stacks of magazines, stacks of postcards.
What the hell?
Here's where that's all he knew. He was there for a year and 3 months.
How old was he when this happened?
22-year-old.
Okay, so he was familiar with reality before this happened to him.
Yes. So what happened? Yeah. So he thought this was being recorded, and they're going to do something with the footage. He didn't realize this was being broadcasted weekly, and he was stripped down naked.
Whoa! What?
Yeah.
What are the
so he was
guidelines
naked
for television
through this
in
entire
Japan?
process. So the thing that he said was the most depressing was just the loneliness. And then again, like the big reveal at the end of the season finale, because he had to acquire 1,000,000 yens worth of products through the sweepstakes, which at that time would have been equivalent to 8,000 US.
Okay.
And so at the big reveal, all the walls fall down because again, he's just naked, and all of a sudden there's a live studio audience surrounding him.
What the hell?
The people didn't know, he didn't know that he was being live broadcasted. He was told that, oh, we're going to record it. People probably aren't going to watch it. We're just going to use, maybe some of it. But it was more about the contest.
Yeah.
But the whole thing was just that they were filming a show weekly about this guy.
What the hell?
And
what a strange concept to get pushed through.
And so he was asked, have you seen The Truman Show? And he said, I did. And he goes, I'm probably the only person in the world that can relate to what he went through. But this guy's gone on to do amazing things. He's climbed Mount Everest 3 times.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
There's lines of people waiting. Actually, it's interesting you say that. I do kind of want to talk about that a little bit more. But have you seen recently like videos of people going to Mount Everest and there's like lines of hundreds of people like waiting, and like apparently it's become such a I guess technology has come far enough where equipment and things like that are a bit easier to just make it so that you can go up there, but also it's not. So there's also just like dead bodies piling up on Mount Everest, and they
because they can't really rescue them after a certain point, and they've actually become like markers for people because decay doesn't happen to the body because it's kept at such cold temperatures.
Yeah, so especially like clothes too. Like
yep.
I think there's one guy like old yellow boots or something they call
yellow
them.
Boots. Yeah, I was gonna say there was something with boots I remember where again it's a indicator on the trail, but I wonder if a lot of these people are only going up maybe like halfway. Like they're like, well, I want to say that I've been able to do it, and again, more access to things like even travel and knowledge of it, the ability to practice in local gyms and stuff like that makes it easier. Because I would be interested to see how many people are actually reaching the top. I think that number should increase.
Oh yeah, it's way more than ever. But it's not like millions or something.
But it's not more than Everest.
Got so much ice on me, you could say it's an Everest. Oh, hold on a sec. Oh my god. Oh. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's hard.
Dinky Freeman, when did you get here?
Oh, sorry guys. It's me. It's been me the whole time.
Oh my god, son of a.
You like it how I waited for you to bring up Mount Everest just so I could drop that line?
Oh, I can't wait to hear that track, Dinky. Oh, let me tell you,
Dinky,
that guy's a scholar.
Get the fuck out! I didn't invite him in, but did you let
did
him?
Did you not hear that line?
I gotta ask if that was sick though.
Dude, that line was really cool.
Yeah.
I bet he's releasing a new song. It's gonna definitely be all about that. I cannot wait to hear it. Oh, it's gonna be such a cool track. Oh, it's gonna be cold. It's gonna be like
cold like Mount Everest
type. Yeah. Dude, yeah. No, I can't wait for the Dinky Freeman experience.
Great. No, that's really good. Yeah, I'm sure he'll put a lot of work into it. It'll take him a long time. He's gonna
put so much effort into that. Oh.
And if he doesn't really like us, right? Yeah, is what you're saying. Yeah, I get it.
I couldn't call that person a best friend.
Well, I've never considered Dinky a best friend, but so yeah, that breaks my brain a little bit. That's insane. And I wonder, you have to kind of wonder if the original writer got wind of that for Truman Show. Are these just two isolated incidences that are similar?
I think especially at the time that it happened, because this happened before Truman Show hit theaters. Like, I feel like that's just a crazy coincidence. You know what's also interesting? So this is where potentially could end up being a media club option. Is the reason this is really popular is a documentary was just released called The Contestant, which is about his story. Oh,
I think I've seen the name. I just had no idea what it was about. That's fascinating.
And the producer of the show was in an interview. He took an interview for the documentary.
Jesus.
So I'm very interested to see
it's like no shame towards it probably, right? Because they did it. So what? I mean, maybe there's regret now, but I mean, fuck, they went through with it and it was legal and it was on TV.
But
so
think about the guy who, like,
Oh,
I don't know.
he's
That's
fucked. Oh no, I'm
that's-
saying like they should be.
Oh no, I mean the guy from the Truman Show movie, like the way he was, the way he treated it. I'm interested to see if
Oh.
this guy is also like that. So,
I see what you're saying.
I'm interested to check out the documentary for this and just learn more. I just thought that was insane that there was a similar situation happening as this was hitting theaters in the U.S.
It's kind of crazy that we are genuinely reaching a time where life is becoming stranger than fiction, and like real stories are becoming more fascinating than like the fictional ones. Because some of the best movies I've seen recently have been based on true stories, or like based on somebody's life. Like I saw
True
Iron
man
Claw
stories.
Yeah, well, I suppose, speaking of true man stories, that's right. No, there's a Iron Claw is a movie that came out. It's an A24 movie with Zac Efron and I always forget his name. Something Allen White, Gerard Allen White. I forget. He's from The Bear.
I know. Jeremy Allen White.
Jeremy Allen White. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God! I saw a picture of him and Gene Wilder side by side with their hair slicked back. They look like the same person.
He should have played Wonka.
Dude,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not nothing against Charlemagne the Timothy, but bro, he should have played. He looks just like Jude.
Yeah, like you should see him in this movie though, because him and Zac Efron, they look unrecognizable. Like, because they just fucking got jacked for the film because they played wrestlers from like the late 80s, I believe, maybe late 70s, early 80s. And yeah, it's just this story about this really kind of fucked up family where this dad had an obsession with wrestling and becoming famous through wrestling and forced it on all three of his kids and kind of taught them how to be tough and how to be a man and like all this stuff. And they were genuinely good people too. Like the sons were actually very sweet, kind, loving, genuine people. But the dad was just like, he kept fucking up his kid's life by taking things one step too far. You know, it's almost like he would set them up with something good and then he would need more. And then, but really good movie. And yeah, it's just that true story thing. And that wanted me to ask you, have you said you haven't seen Baby Reindeer, right? I think I asked you before the podcast, right?
I have
you said
not.
Okay. And do you know anything about it?
Not a clue. Rudolph?
Okay. Yes, actually. So it's a retelling of the classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but it's actually a first-person gritty horror film. Very interesting. First of its kind. You see the red glow the whole movie because you're kind of following him.
And you know death approaches.
Exactly, because you are death. So anyway, no, it's a series on Netflix about a guy who was stalked in real life, and it's kind of about, one, why he didn't go to the police right away, like how it went on for so long, what happens as it goes on for so long. And it's one of those things where the first episode, you do have that gut reaction of like, this guy's a fucking idiot. Like, just go to the police. That's the first thing you would do. It's over. Yep. But as the show goes on and you learn things about his past and his real life, and he's very honest about his this was one of the most things that was like refreshing, how honest he seemed to be as an artist. He like nitpicked his history and he was like, I was such a fucking asshole for doing this, or like, I don't know why I did this. And it was things that were genuinely like, ooh, like that's not like that's not a good thing a person should do, you know, like that. Like, without spoiling things, there's a part of the show where he has an interest in trans people. Like, he's actually very attracted to trans women and he wants to date trans women, but he's so embarrassed of himself to date trans women that he comes up with a fake alter ego to start on dating apps to date so that his real life will never intermingle with his trans dating life.
I see.
And he's very like honest about how that, like, how he dealt with that. But no, it's a fucked up show. Like the stalking is very creepy, but very like real. And I almost don't even want to tell you why it's called Baby Reindeer. Cause like that little, cause that's what threw me off at first. When everyone kept talking about it, I was like, well, why the fuck is it called Baby Reindeer? Is it like, oh, did he like hit a baby reindeer at the beginning of the show? And it's like, whoa, is it? But no, it's better. It's good. It's good.
Interesting. Okay.
But it did want me to ask a question, because what's happening is the person who stalked him is now suing Netflix because this is a thing that actually happened, and people have been able to track down who the woman was, even though he changed the names, he changed like their careers in ways.
Yeah, it's still pretty easy if you have a history of a specific person you can tie it to, especially in today's day and age. I mean, yeah, finding people is not hard.
No. So what's your opinion on that? Of like, do you think it's okay to make art that it is that personal? This is almost, according to him, like not one for one. He did embellish quite a bit and make it a better story beat. But like, as far as what happened to him, the interactions he had with people are all like 100% real. And is that like almost too far to make like a Netflix show out of?
Man, it's so tough because, and his side, right? He's like, I'm telling my story.
Yeah.
But he's also telling other people's stories.
Yeah.
And I think it's different if he's, at a job that he doesn't like and he's saying, I dislike my boss here, versus, I dated this person for however long from this period to this period, because then you have a lot of intimate details to share that could absolutely affect somebody's life. And it's one of those, if you're changing the names, like that is always a good start. But if you're using somebody else's personal experiences, but then okay, let's use that same ruling towards music, and you make a song about breaking up. Mm-hmm. Let's say every guy that Taylor Swift has broken up has said, all right, I want a cut of that now. If I was part of that experience that created that, then I want a cut of that at that point. And again, it's once you allow one thing, you have to start allowing others.
Yeah.
So, oh man.
I do agree with you, but I guess there is the argument though that with like music, I mean, you could, but most of the time you don't. They're not like putting words into those people's mouths that are like, well, you said this and then did this. Usually it's just music. It's usually a reflection of how you responded to what that person did to you. And it's like with this show, since you're watching it play out, you're watching what that person did as if that's exactly what happened. Does that make sense? I don't know. Especially it's the media literacy thing where people can't really separate like, okay, well, it probably didn't go down exactly like that. This is a TV show. It has to be embellished a little bit. But some people don't see that.
Yeah.
They're just going to think this is a one for one. Well, and also too, because I guess there are a few parts of it that she feels, there's a whole interview she did with Piers Morgan. And
fantastic. What a great fucking scumbag of a human being.
Yeah.
I don't like him genuinely.
No, shouldn't. Not many people do. I don't know why you would. But and I'm sure that was one of the only shows that she could get on, like so quickly and like without any questions or anything like that. And she just she seems like crazy. Like she kind of just seems like I don't want to throw around that word, but she kind of just genuinely seems like the woman that was in the show. So you're almost like, oh, well, is it just an accurate depiction of, and at that point, is she outing herself? Because that's another thing. He did do a pretty good job of concealing it. And then people through Facebook and all this stuff were like, hey, we think we know who it is. But she was the one who came out after that and went, yep, it's me. If she had just kept quiet and let people speculate, do their own thing, then it would have blown over. It would have, but so it's almost like she outed herself in a way.
No, I think people today on the internet are so obsessive over things like this. People would have started messaging, and that's the other thing, right?
But don't respond. You know what I'm saying? Like if she had never said anything to anyone about any of it,
but think about it this way, right? You get targeted in this situation. You could not respond. But if you're still getting messages every single day, if people start calling your place of work, if people go to your place of work, like now that's interrupting your personal life. And that's the other situation that I'm actually looking at is even if she was like this person that did this thing, if this is at a point where they're past it now, and now it's being brought back to her. People are now reaching out and messaging her. She could ignore it, but then it's like, oh, she could delete her social media. Oh, she could change her phone.
Well, why does she have to then change her life? I don't know if this controls how you feel about it at all, because I will let you, but minor spoiler, it's not a happy ending. She doesn't they don't forgive each other and move on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, I didn't expect it.
Okay. So
I think it's one of those like,
Well, either way, she's going to have to, right? And I think, like, in a way, she just kind of brought it on herself by going on Piers Morgan. Like, maybe you can admit it's you in a way, but, like, to make a show out of it seems like a thing that's, like, that's her doing. Like, she didn't have to do that.
I could see her doing that now, though, defensively, to say, okay, well, if it's going to affect my life, then I want a cut of it. Yeah. And if it is them retelling her story as well, I almost think she actually does have some kind of claim to that.
Really? So you think if somebody stalked you, like violently stalked you, and then you made a show about it, that stalker deserves money?
Question. Was there ever police reports filed where there's public information? Okay, that's a different situation. So in that case, you could say, oh no, this is based on like a documentary about somebody. This is public information that I've compiled in a video series.
Yeah, I mean, and I think what she had done prior, because this isn't even her first stalk, apparently. This is like her third or whatever. He was like the third person she had stalked. I think those were the ones that helped people track down who it was. They had just looked up, like, okay, who was like a person who has 4 cases of stalking and is still active in whatever job it might be.
And okay, I think there's another way that, like, because I don't want to look like, especially hearing like violent, it's less of me defending her and more of me thinking about, let's say you are somebody who was dating a girl and you guys had a bad relationship, mistakes were made. Fine. You go on, you have your career, she has her career, and then somebody makes a movie about that. And now that's affecting your professional life that you've moved on and built. Does that person get that same treatment in terms of, well, do you deserve it? Sorry, I'm going to be rich off it now.
I mean, they do that, and they don't. You know what I mean? Like, you already said Taylor Swift. I mean, everybody knows who she's singing about, and they DM them and try to, like, you know, stir shit as Taylor Swift fans. And it's like, they just, and to that point, like, most of the time, those are famous people who have an established career.
Exactly. And that's where I think it's
easier to ignore them, you know?
Yeah. But it's like when you're not famous and when you have, like, a day job. Like,
yeah. But she's not, you should watch the show.
I got you. But again, I'm not defending her. No. I'm defending people whose stories get used.
Yeah. No,
for someone else to make money. That's where I'm like, there's got to be protections because it doesn't. Again, not everybody's always going to be a violent stalking villain that has like a police.
100%. Yeah. And I do agree with that, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation because I do have that kind of both minds about it. I'm really not sure how I feel. I think it's like case by case, right? It's kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah, at the end and I think that's what's honest best for most things because it's so hard to, again, you can't kill anybody. All right, but what if they're about to shoot somebody and you have a shot on them that
you're
they
about
don't
to shoot
see?
your mom for no reason. It's
it's one of those, there's always a situation and it's just, you know, what does that situation tell?
Yeah. You murderer. But yeah,
who told you?
You do bring up a good point with like the whole music and art thing. I mean, there was an interesting show. I think I've brought it up before that Mark Maron was in called Easy, and he's a stand-up comedian. And I mean, shit, you want to talk about somebody who uses their real life and usually tells stories that are very personal. And yeah, a lot of times they're made up. You know, that's kind of the running joke is that the comedian didn't really do that. You know, like that's okay.
Right. Yeah.
But what makes it personable is a lot of times it's based on something that is real to them. And in that show, he has an ex-wife that left him because he kept putting her in his sets. And it's not like she felt like a monetary need from it. She just kind of felt like used. Like, well, I'm just content for you.
I'm a punchline.
Yeah. And then even after they got divorced, he was making ex jokes. And she was just kind of like, am I ever not going to be your content? Like, can you move on? And, you know, and it was very interesting to where it's like, okay, well, yeah, does he even have like an original thought? Is that even is he even making original art because he's so focused on this past with this woman and it's all about her? So it's like, yeah, I like the show. That's the one where Dave Franco makes beer. Sorry.
Call. Talk about coming full circle.
Yeah, Jesus.
It's actually funny because now that you bring that up, now I'm starting to rethink my position because if we go off, okay, if a little bit of somebody's, story is intertwined with the story that you tell, then stand-up comedians couldn't tell any joke involving interactions with any people because
royalties
they
would be
have
out the ass.
Yeah, and again, it's also it doesn't even make sense because let's say they are making up a story. Somebody could say, "Oh, you mentioned me." He's like, "Well, it wasn't a real story." Yeah, but you said it was.
And that's where it's messy. And you know, and that's where I will defend the creator of the show a little bit. Like, while I do kind of believe there is a little voice in my head that kind of tells me like he should have done more to hide who it was.
So you still think there was maybe at least more?
Yeah, I don't think he did it on purpose. I don't think he like wanted people to track her down.
Oh yeah, he wasn't trying, but there's definitely maybe further extents he could have gone to just be extra safe.
Yeah, but he kind of tried to make it clear to people like she does not have the same job. It is not the same thing. Like she is a different person from this show. Don't let that distract you. And while I think like one or two of those things ended up not being true, it's still, at least he still even lied to throw people off. You know what I mean? So then it's like,
yeah.
It was a weird case. I don't think he purposely wanted people to track her down, but I do also think that he didn't really want people. I don't think he cared as well, is what I mean. And not to spoil anything else, but there is another, and this is the weirdest part for me that nobody's really talking about. There's another character in the show that does something worse in terms of like, and they're apparently a well-known like film producer. And people have been able to figure out who it is. Nothing's happening with that. No, nobody cares about that. That's just, oh, well, yeah, that's what he does. Or, you know what I mean? Like, that's just, oh, that's already been a well-known thing in the circles of Hollywood. Like, they don't care about that. But this woman who is a stalker, and that's what I mean is where he played it how she should have played it. And funny enough, I wish he would have played it the other way because he's the one that should be exposed right now. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, no, I think after thinking about like more mediums, and especially if he's going as far as like he's changing names, he's not trying to identify this person. He's just trying to relay the experience that he had. So, okay, I think I am leaning more on that.
You know where I can understand your position is, if let's say you were dating a girl, right, and it ended badly. And there was like miscommunication and like all this stuff. And then like 2 years later, there's a show about an abusive boyfriend who was like stalking her in the end of there. And she's like misinterpreting things you said or using things out of context. And then, of course, it's like, okay, well,
I guess at that point you actually have like a defamation of character case.
Yeah, but also if they didn't use your name, you look a little different. Is that, do you out yourself as being that person even if you didn't do any of those things? Do you know what I mean? Like that's such a bad position to be in.
Oh, right, because then they could say like, well, you were just inspiration for a character. Why do you feel like you identify as that character?
Yeah, are you projecting? And it's like, no, like it would.
It's so funny because I feel like as artists, we're more likely to have these kind of conversations where it's, and I've even thought about it, right? There's times where I'm going to go and I'm like, okay, I want to write a song, right? And I want to tap into like an emotion, like, okay, it's a breakup song. It's going to be sadder. I'm a happily married man. So writing a breakup song is probably not going to come from my current experience.
Yeah, I feel this.
So it's one of those, it's a combination of, maybe watching movies, listening to other songs, shows, but other
remembering
past experiences. Yeah, exactly. And there's definitely been times where I've talked about a way an X made me feel because I'm like, I want to find a way to relate to people. And I was like, I know how this feels, so let me talk about this. But maybe I'm like, let me change our situation. Maybe let me change what happened to me.
Yeah. What did I learn from this? Or like, what did I,
Exactly. Because I don't want to retell that story. I want to tell a different story through song. But again,
oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, but yeah, it kind of comes back to the difference between, inspiration versus I yeah, because that's all that it is it's just
like
what has
inspiration
happened.
or reference. Like, are you just straight referencing something that happened in your life, or did it inspire you to make something out of it?
Story. That's a better way of saying it.
The way, from what you had said, it made me want to ask you, because you must know what I mean. Do you ever show Amanda, your significant other, a song, and there will be lines, and you kind of have to look at her and be like, that's not about you. And then like another one, a couple will be like, oh, that one is about you. And like, you kind of have to make sure they know, like.
I'm not going to lie. She learned really quick. I'm a rapper. There's certain things I'm going to talk about in songs, and
oh, so you don't even feel the need to say anything?
No.
Okay.
Like I showed her a song the other day where the subject matter was like feeling stuck in a relationship, and she was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds good." Again, there's to the point where
it's
like
not really
it's
not how you feel right now. But
exactly. I don't ever need to tell her like, "Oh no, this song isn't about us." She's like,
no, for me it's
music.
that need. I feel the need where I'm like, no, don't worry. You know, like, it's because
I think
of
it's
that,
just my subject matter content. Like, yeah, it's like that. It's so funny. I've even thought about one of my songs where maybe I'm talking about like, oh, I get all the bad bitches right. Like it's I'm in a room with a bunch of women, and then like I'm like, yeah, and then like my wife walks in, and then she just like beats the shit out of me in front of all these women as they all just start like laughing and pointing at me, as a way to be like, I don't take it seriously. Like,
and then all of you sleep together.
That's why you get an Alaskan king bed.
An Alaskan king bed. An Alaskan
Have you never seen an Alaskan king
bed? No.
All right, Joseph, throw up a picture of an Alaskan king bed. I realize Tyler doesn't know that that's an actual thing. Yeah, these are just like the ridiculously like sized ones, but I will, like, if I'm ever famous, my master bedroom, like half of the room is just going to be a bed. I just want to be able to like roll around infinitely and be comfortable. I move around a lot in my sleep.
I can't wait till we can get a bigger bed, because I'm pretty stationary when I sleep, unless I'm having like a rough night of sleep. I'll roll a lot, but I don't really like kick my legs too much. I used to. I feel like I don't do it much now. And if I do, she just doesn't tell me. You know what I mean? So I don't really know. I'm sleeping. I'll plead the fifth. I'll be honest. I'm sleeping on your honor. I don't really know what I'm doing.
You were sleeping on your honor? Bro, you never sleep on your honor. Do you know like how dishonorable that is to your family?
By the way, I speaking of that, I don't know why that reminded me, but I felt like the joke brochure has never been used before in something. I don't even know how to set it up or to follow it through, but it's like
you want this pamphlet?
Like brochure.
Brochure.
Yeah, exactly. Brochure. Like how is that
You've
not
never
been used
seen
before?
that before?
That's a thing? I've never seen it.
That's where that meme came from, is like, what did one pamphlet what it's like a pamphlet says to another pamphlet, would you like this? And he's like, bro, sure.
Oh. Man, I thought I had an original thought for once in my life. Okay, real quick, because I think I mentioned to you on your stream yesterday, or 2 days ago, that I was watching a bunch of horror short films on YouTube, and there was one that actually feeds into what we're just talking about, and I just thought it was really funny, because in and of itself, it's a very original idea, and it's about a guy who's sitting at this bar, and he's like real disheveled, and this other guy comes in, and he's like, yeah, I just got a promotion. I'm getting fucking married to the hottest woman ever. Woo! Let's go. Shots all around. And this guy's real upset, and he's like, what's wrong with you, buddy? And he's like, I can't tell you. And he's like, no, tell me. And he's like, all right, the truth is I had a truly original idea, and when I told my wife, her head exploded. And it shows like a flashback, and her head fucking like after he tells her, and they're like, dude, you have to tell us, there's no fucking way. And he keeps telling the story of how he got brought into like a CIA, like they kept like testing him, bringing him in front of people and being like, okay, tell them your idea. And when he told them, they would like have this big glow on their face, and then just their head would explode. And he's like, I don't know what it is, they're just, people can't handle a truly original idea. You think your idea is original? It's not. It's just an amalgamation of a bunch of other ideas that have come together. We don't know true originality. And it was so fucking funny. Like,
I love that idea. He can't tell anybody. It's just It'll kill you.
I don't want to spoil it, but the guy obviously, like, spoilers. If you want to watch the short film, just skip like a minute in this video. I'm just going to say it real quick. But the short film is called OI, Original ID. It's only like 10 minutes. It's really short. But the end essentially is the guy who's very braggadocious. He's like, I can handle it. And the bartender's like, fuck it, I can handle it too. Tell me. And he's like, all right, I don't take any responsibility for what's about to happen. So he tells them, and then their heads don't explode. And he's like, wait. You're fucking immune. You're fucking immune, and starts like freaking out. But then the bartender's head explodes, and then the real braggadocious guy, he's real hyped at first because he's like, that's an incredible idea. We can sell this idea. Oh my God. Like, he's so excited. And then he sees the bartender's head explode and he's like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? And he starts getting pissed at the other guy because he's like, why would you tell me the idea if you knew there was a possibility that my fucking head could explode? And he's like, dude, you told me to. And he grabs the shotgun behind the bar, which was shown in the first act, and then blows his own head off. And the guy just sits down back at the bar and he's like, all right, back to square one.
Oh my God, that's actually like, what an original idea.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, that was really good. But anyway, enough of that. Okay, did you have anything else you want to talk about, or did you want to dive into our little music section we're gonna have here?
Let's jump into the music section, shall we?
Okay.
Whoop.
Okay, guys, we are pretty lucky here. Mitchell has not seen the music video for Houdini yet from Eminem.
Specifically because he told me not to.
Yes.
Not because like I've been avoiding it.
Well, you also seem to have forgotten when I brought it up, but I'm glad you did, because that means you didn't see it. You have heard the song, but I don't think it does it justice without the music video, so I do want you to see it. So sorry for anyone listening or watching this. Obviously, we can't play the song or music video. You're just kind of going to get our reactions post.
Oh, Liquid Death, like it. I love this already.
It's like
set Joe Biden Pope.
It's like the only time I'm okay with the young AI usage so far.
Dre's beating the shit out of him.
Fucking Shane Gillis.
I didn't realize it was Shane Gillis. Holy shit.
Shane Gillis is Eminem approved, we know.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then I love him start dissing like all of his own people.
Fuck my own kids.
Fuck my own kids, the brats. I love that.
It's pretty good, right?
Amazing. It's so good.
I think it's fun. I like it when Eminem just has fun like this. Like I almost like it more than his serious side, you know?
That's the thing, is it's his fun side. And people, it's because people look at lines and be like, more of a prick than cacti be. This is your lyrical goat. It's like, this is called range, my guy.
Yeah.
All right. Not everything has to be a symphony fucking orchestra. And if it has to be for you, go listen to Hans Zimmer.
Yeah. And listen, if you were to write out all of Eminem's lyrics on a wall or on a board, right? It's like, if 70% of them are still going to be some of the best lyrics you've ever fucking read, I'm okay with the other 30% just being filler. You know what I mean? Like, because there's some bad lines. Not point, even in this song, but just in general.
It's just in comparison. Also, when you have such incredible lines, your regular lines also seem worse because you're so good at what you do. But also
never live up to yourself. Yeah.
He doesn't have anything to prove to anyone. And I do love, I've seen so many people on social media be like, can you believe he said that? And it's like, I would love for them to go back and listen to the Slim Shady LP, the Marshall Mathers LP.
He went easy. Yeah, he went easy.
This is God, this is such a tame Eminem. This is like him like, I'm just having fun. If anything, I think the whole idea is with, oh no, the old Slim Shady's back. He was going to say some really fucked up shit. And Eminem's pretty much saying like, nope, we're not doing that anymore. We don't do that.
Exactly. Like, the video gives it more context.
The video makes it even better. I love it. I'm such a huge fan of that.
Yeah, there's the line where he says like, I wonder what the old me would say. He'd probably just say, that's gay or whatever. Like,
it's like happy. And that's the funny thing too. So I want to tell a personal story I have of that relates to this and Eminem in a way.
Okay.
When I was at UNLV, I took a sex dance and something class where
rock and
we
roll.
learned about ballet, burlesque, and strippers.
Ooh.
This was an actual class. But anyways, one of the guest speakers we had was a cross-dresser. She's actually very famous. He's very famous. I don't remember. This was like my freshman year of college. It was 2011. Fair. But
you're half awake off the night before. You're like, what?
Exactly.
Who's this? Who's talking?
But in the music video, We're the Ones That Made You, they were the ones who played Britney Spears.
Oh, okay.
So he was Britney Spears in the where we hold on. I actually want to name him. Actually, I'd have to find the credits. I'll find the credits for some at some point. Yeah, that'd be kind of hard. But yeah, it in a music video it would be a little bit tricky. But spoke to the class and told us his experience. He was actually nervous before because wasn't sure how Eminem was going to react to him, and said that Eminem was like the nicest guy, that he had the best experience, and that that's Eminem just treats people nicely.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like most people realize unless you are a famous celebrity who's done something stupid or said some shit about him, he might make a slight jab at you, but he's like South Park. He's just gonna say shit about everyone.
Yeah.
It's the people that start to push back or say dumb shit to him. Now you're gonna go through like scorched earth.
Yeah. I wait, what kind of earth? Wait, hold on.
Scorched earth.
Scorched earth?
Scorched earth.
I always thought that the joke, especially growing up when I was younger and I was stupid. I thought the joke that when you're calling someone gay was that the person you're calling it is so offended by being emasculated that it's almost like you're making fun of their fragility, that they're even offended. Like, I like getting their reaction of being like, oh, what are you, gay? And they're like, excuse me, what the fuck? Like when I was a teenager, you say shit. The joke wasn't me trying to belittle them by saying that, like comparing them to a gay person. It was that their masculinity is so fragile that all I have to do is call them gay, and now they're freaking the fuck out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where the joke came from for me. So like when I used to say it and shit in high school and all that. But then
when they make the movie about you.
Yeah. But when the context came out, it was like, oh no, I'm not trying to. And when someone said like, you realize you're like comparing them to a bad thing, right? Like you're saying, I was like, oh, it was
that
like
sounds way worse than I was intending. Yeah,
that glass shattering moment of like, oh fuck, that is not what I like really intended, but like totally understand how that is ignorance on my part. You know what I mean? Like that's just, yeah.
But I mean, shit, we're all teenagers. We all do dumb shit and have minimal prefrontal cortex development.
Yeah, because there's a scene in Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire one, that you could argue maybe didn't age well, but it depends on how you view the joke. Because like, it's in the wrestling match where he's fighting Bonesaw McGraw, and
Bonesaw
is ready. Yeah, I got you for 3 minutes. Playtime.
I got for 3 minutes, little Spider-Man. I don't know why I remember that.
3 minutes of playtime. I've seen that
over like 15 years.
Dude, it's one of the best scenes. And
who was that?
I actually maybe
was that Hulk Hogan?
It wasn't Hulk Hogan, but it was a Randy Savage. Of course, it was Randy Savage.
That's what I was like, Hulk Hogan. I'm like, no, that's not.
It's never do a Slim Jim.
Oh yeah,
yeah, Randy Savage.
Yeah, that.
Okay, Jesus Christ. But either way, there's a joke in that where Spider-Man jumps up on the wall, Tobey Maguire, and then he's like, "That's a nice outfit. Did your boyfriend sew it for you?" And then he's like, "Drrr!" Like gets all pissed off and like, yeah. But again, like to me, I thought he was just trying to rile him up. I didn't think I don't know why I didn't associate it with I don't know. It's very strange.
I will say this because it's actually a really interesting generational thing, because that's one example of a Spider-Man thing not aging well. I think we also have to remember Spider-Man's been around since the 50s or 60s. I think in the original comics, he hit Mary Jane.
Yeah.
I remember he just backhands her, and it's like, a lot of these comics are old, right? Like these came from a time before fucking civil rights even happened. Yeah. So how politically correct do you really expect that to be?
And it's much better than it was. You know what I mean? It's a 90s movie.
But the whole point of we always get to this point where, we as a society are developing still. Like, clearly we have not made it far enough to get past the toddlers fucking fighting with each other all over the goddamn time and needing to be separated. And maybe that's just a part of it, is we'll continue to develop, and generations will continue to see better ways to look at the world and treat people better.
Yeah. No,
God,
I agree.
I hope so.
I hope so. Jesus Christ, yeah. That's more of a
Fortnite kids. I'm just kidding.
fucking fingers crossed, man. Well, don't worry. They had like an MLK Day in Fortnite, so we're good. They've got it covered, dude. But yeah, Eminem has had a history with saying a lot of very questionable things. And he's never really apologized, right? Because it's just kind of been his thing. Like, I think he might have apologized for one or two things, like the hard F drop. And because you could say gay, but then you could also say something else. And I think he's used that word a few times, and there's just almost no coming back from that word. And I think he might have apologized for that one.
I will say that word got used a lot in 90s rap.
Yeah,
so
well, it got used in movies that we're about to talk about in our next episode.
There's a little more context.
There's
with
way
that
more
one.
context, yeah.
But at the same time, it's another thing I think this show has shown us, right? And by this show, I actually mean our show.
Yeah.
The last movie you had me watch, the way that they spoke, again, that was how those people spoke at that time. It's
those
literally
characters, not just any white person. Just people were just dropping the N-bombs all over the place.
What year was that? Well,
92.
Yeah,
it was like 92. Because they were like Italian mobsters and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know why. I think just because how old movies look in comparison to how quickly we're getting new CGI and effects, like that almost felt like a 40s, 50s.
I think he shot it on film. I think he always shoots on film. Maybe not always, but I think he did that one. And the film will almost always have that same...
You get that old, 50s, 60s kind of feel to it.
Feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so, okay.
Technicolor.
We ended up talking about these subjects for a little longer than we expected, so do we want to divvy up some time here for Drake? We've got some time to talk about it.
Let's talk about it, man. He deleted all of the Instagram posts of all the Kendrick disses.
The Heart Part 6, right? Yeah. Oh, all of them? I thought it was just Heart Part 6.
No, I think they're all off now.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Talk about folding. Like what? What? Nobody even yes, we all knew you lost, right? And
nah. You seen this through? Oh man, this it's revealed a lot, and then too, right when you get more context, and for me, right, this has to kind of go beyond the wife beating allegations and the child allegations, because neither of them released any actual evidence of it.
Do you think legal actions were involved? Do you think people contacted people and told them do not release another fucking song? Do you know what I mean?
The only people that I think were really trying to pull the strings was the label that Drake is on, because the amount of companies that are invested into Drake's brand, that is now people in clubs are calling him a pedophile. That is such damaging to the clean kind of person that brands want to associate with. That's where I think that's where I'm guessing this fallout has happened, where he's backed off from the beef, because from a rap beef standpoint, not only did you lose, you've backed down, you've walked back everything you said. I don't know.
That's the part that sucks. It's you could have just went silent. There's a difference between just going silent and then releasing your next album, making a few jabs here and there, doing whatever. But to delete and backtrack, that's different. Because we actually, I don't think we talked about this before. People were dissing J. Cole at the very beginning of this because he wasn't it on stage literally said oh, I fucked up, my bad, I shouldn't have called Kendrick out, all this stuff. And everyone was like, what are you doing, dude? Get off stage. Shut up. You're a bitch. You should have stood your ground. And now everyone's like, oh, good job, J. Cole. You really fucking dodged a bullet there. And does Drake think that's what he's doing now? Does he think oh, let me back out quick, because that was close?
And let me be clear, I've always been a pretty big Drake fan. I'll say it, like I like the music. It's
That's
catchy,
how I
it's
know you're
fun.
being honest, because you've always been a Drake fan.
And I've always been a fan of Kendrick, but I'll definitely say I always had more Drake songs on my playlist and stuff. But that's not to say that I don't think Kendrick's the better artist. And through this, he made me realize things about Drake that, it's different, right? Drake is a great entertainer. But to me, as a rapper, right, in a rap beef especially, when you get a line thrown at you, with your writers, this is more like 1v20. It's like you're getting beat up. You and 20 dudes are getting beat up by one guy. Like, that's the equivalent. Your guys are walking into a gym and getting your ass whooped by one dude. Like, that's where I'm looking at it. And the songs, Drake's songs weren't better. I thought the Heart Part 6 was clever to take that moniker, that kind of, he's used. And also
because it has soured any release of the Heart Part 6 that Kendrick may have planned for the near future. It has put a sour taste in it, because it's like, even if he does release it, it's going to remind everyone of this beef. So it's like, Drake was kind of smart in that sense. Whether he was the one to come up with that idea, I don't know, but that was smart.
But other than that, like, the using AI Tupac, that was whack. Using
So
AI
out of left field.
Snoop, that was just lame. And you could even tell on the earlier songs, he was more of trying to make a fun, catchy song.
Yeah.
Kendrick made a better catchy song. Kendrick made a better lyrical song. Kendrick just executed 100% in this.
Even though I don't agree with this, because obviously it's not true. I think it's so funny how there's like a meme going around where they're saying that like Kendrick invented like horror rap because of how terrified people felt listening to Meet the Grams. They were just like,
I'm not
dude,
gonna
I've
lie.
never. Have they ever heard of Atmosphere or Tech Nine? Like, what the fuck?
I was about to say that this is where it shows a lot of people have never listened to Immortal Technique. You haven't listened to Dance with the Devil. Like, I listened to that and I'm like, this is an incredible, visceral song.
Yeah.
Everybody that was like, I was creeped out. I'm like, you don't listen to the same.
And for me, it was only the end. It was just that, and it was the production. It was because I was listening to it with these headphones, and so when you had the live, like in both ears, two different voices,
I didn't think
and
about
like,
that. Yeah,
dude, I was like, like it's like the ghosts of Drake's past coming back to fuck him in the ass. Like, dude, it was crazy. Like, that song is nuts. Because we didn't. I didn't want to make this a whole conversation about the beef necessarily, but by doing this, Drake has inadvertently now ruined any of the possible credible comments he made about Kendrick. Like, what about, like you said, the wife beating accusations? What about the cheating accusations? Like, yes, those are not as serious as the accusations that are being made against Drake by any means, but by deleting them, now all people are thinking is, okay, well, now you're just a pedophile and I don't know what to think about Kendrick. Like, he's really fucking himself here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no context now for Kendrick's songs, so they almost sound worse.
And I think part of it is, like, I think Drake ended up in a corner, and I think this is what happens maybe when you have a team of like 20 writers, right? Like, you can't maybe quality control everything, because there were things that Drake had said like, oh, we planted the information.
Oh, yeah.
But it was very clear you didn't, because that's not how it happened.
Yeah. And why wouldn't you call that out immediately? You know, the second Kendrick drops that song, show the receipts and go, idiot. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Same thing with like, we fed you the information. Where are the screenshots?
That's what I mean. Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, kids who debate anime fights on Discord take better fucking screenshots, record their calls to fucking throw shit back at people. Like,
yes.
Man, they handle beefs better. And again, it was just, he got steamrolled. And even the one thing he always relied on, I have the most numbers. No, Kendrick's crushing your numbers, and Kendrick didn't need to put out as much music. It literally became an entertainer versus an artist. but at an artist game. A rap beef is not something that
No.
you can just like fun your way out of. The only reason why he got kind of out of unscathed from the Pusha T beef, which he lost, was because his numbers were so astronomical in comparison that he was able to still be like, it doesn't matter. I have this money. I'm a better rapper, quote unquote. Pusha T obliterated him, and now he can't even rely on the numbers game.
Yeah. I mean, I think that might partly be what they're hoping for in the long run, right? Because hear me out. We are people who follow the pulse of like music and pop culture to a certain degree in that sense. There are some people I've had this beef conversation with who genuinely either forgot or didn't know about the Pusha T situation. And
that's wild. Yeah.
But I think maybe that's what the Drake's team is hoping will happen. Is like, oh, if 5 years from now, if we just release enough albums, do enough movies, do enough things, this will just be that one time Kendrick and I had a beef. And people won't, and like younger kids won't remember, and older people will be older, so they won't care because they're working their job. And you know what I mean? Like, it's like just the human brain, like, oh, we just move on. I really think that's what he thinks is going to happen. I don't think it's what's happening. But
no, and the other big thing about this is the songs that he's released since, fucking terrible.
Oh yeah, so I guess we have to talk about that Hey There Delilah cover that just came out 2 days ago.
Dude, it made me sick.
What the fuck is it called? Wagwan Delilah.
And again, the other thing that the rap beef did, right, was it really made people recognize how much of how much Drake assimilates to a culture to tap into it.
He's a chameleon. And he's like a rap chameleon, like
exactly. And tell me that this accent that he's doing wasn't playing into exactly what Kendrick said. Kendrick called him out for like Sexy Red, and he's releasing more music, and like I don't know, like I didn't even like the other song that he did with her. Like
does he think it's funny? To him, is it a joke? Because I can almost kind of understand that thinking where it's like, oh well, if he said, "Don't do this," my next song, I'm gonna lean into it and be like, and like really do a fucking weird accent and voice and shit. Like, that's why I thought it was AI. I'm not entirely convinced, dude. Like, I'm still not 100% convinced that this is Drake. I don't know. I still don't know. I'm being honest.
Here's another reason why I think things like this are, right, is, again, when you think of Drake and how controlled the Drake brand is and the label above him, do you think the label would allow Drake to do, or do you think the label would allow other people to put out music with Drake's name?
Oh, this is where you got me wrong. I think Drake is involved. I think Drake used Drake AI. I mean, we already know he's done it 3 times before. He's used the Tupac and the Snoop Dogg, and then he used an AI voice a couple months ago. I can't remember what it was. I was reading about it because people said he was experimenting with it because of the Tupac thing, and he had already used an AI voice prior. And then that started to make people speculate about other times that they were like, in the last couple months, they were like, wait, is this AI? Because this doesn't sound... And you've kind of opened a trap door at that point. Not you. I'm saying like the AI and Drake in general have kind of opened Pandora's box on this, because now we can't trust anything. Like, if you put too much auto-tune and don't mix the vocals properly enough, people are probably going to think it's AI. Because like that's kind of the world we're in now.
And even the production on that was terrible.
That's what I mean. Like, that's what I don't understand is like, why is it a joke? Is he leaning into it to trick people into causing hype, or is it a distraction? Because people are talking about that and not, I don't know, man.
It's the weirdest fall and the last thing that I would have expected from him.
Also, it was probably a bad choice picking every 14-year-old girl's favorite song. He's really trying to appeal to a certain demographic, if you know what I mean. Hey there, Delilah.
I honestly hadn't even thought about that, but holy shit. Yeah, again. And again, that's what the Kendrick did so well, was he planted enough in that There was even this thing where people are like, "Oh, Drake's fucking dogs" and shit like that. Now, where I'm like, "All right, you guys are literally just reaching for anything."
Yeah, let's stick to the stuff that's true.
Academics was like on stream watching the video that got sent to him, and then people heard dogs, and then people heard dogs barking, and then they're like, Academics had a weird face. It must have been a video of Drake fucking dogs, and everyone else is like, I mean, Academics does have dogs, and I think one of them just had surgery recently.
Yeah,
and so there's a point where people are just taking it crazy places. But
yeah, which sucks because Academics is awful. I kind of hate Academics. Like, at least during this beef, like I hate his take on it has been awful.
He had the weird. I don't know how much he was getting paid, but whatever.
Yeah.
But what Kendrick did the best was he planted enough that people were able to start just speculating, and it just kept tearing Drake down more. I think "Not Like Us" is the number 1 song in Toronto right now.
Yeah. It's being played in clubs like all over the fucking world, man. Like it's kind of insane. That's right, because Drake, is that the one with Ice Spice or whatever? Is that the BBL where he rapped over BBL Drizzy? We didn't even mention that one.
I didn't even mention that one. And again, it's like
he thinks he's in on the joke. He thinks.
Yeah, it's really like he's like, I get it, guys, and everyone's like, we're not even laughing at this point. Dude, this is just kind of disturbing.
We're genuinely concerned. We need to see like your dungeons, and we need to know. Yeah, like it's.
Yeah, what are you dragging through the dungeons, bro?
Okay, oh man, like, yeah, this whole, and it's funny because a lot of people have said like, oh man, like at least he's getting Drake to write again and really do his best, and it's like, well, if this is his best, then like, that's not a good sign, really.
I was not impressed with most of Drake's
it was a real beef. I'll give it that. Because like I don't even consider the MGK and Eminem, that wasn't even a beef. No,
that was Eminem was swatting the fly.
That was a guy, yeah, you know what, that's a way better example. I was gonna say that's just a guy coming up and poking a bear, and the bear mauled the guy.
There was one line that Eminem had there. I was like, this isn't even the most visceral line, and it's enough to put him away. I'd rather be 50-year-old me than 20-year-old you.
Yeah, that's a great line,
bro.
And there's even and honestly, these are even the best ones with Kendrick for some reason. I don't know why they hit so hard because they're so fucking dumb. But it's always the ones where they're just like I think the one, I can't remember the exact line from Eminem, but it's something along the lines of like, yeah, with your stupid fucking man bun. Like he just calls out his man bun.
He's like, your beard's weird.
Yeah. And fucking with Kendrick, when he's just that one part at the end of Euphoria or in the middle of it or whatever, where he's just like, I hate the way you fucking talk. I hate the way you walk. I hate the way you dress. I hate the way. Oh, man. Like, it's so, even though it's just, and I understand when that beef was starting, there was a lot of people calling Kendrick out for just being like, dude, you're not saying anything. You're just being a hater. You know, like a lot of the Drake fans were just being like, dude, you're just literally being a hater. Like literally, you're saying, I hate this. I hate this. But once everything else is like, it's almost like, oh, we didn't know the full context yet. He was almost giving him a warning. He was like, don't fucking take this further.
No, he said, don't tell lies about me, and I won't tell truths about you.
Great line.
But here's the other thing.
That's going to be on every teenage girl's yearbook tagline for the next. Don't tell lies about me, and I won't tell truths about you.
That would have been everybody's MySpace headline.
It'd be tattoos on their forearm.
In script. The other thing that Kendrick does really well, and yeah, it's the point where they're like, oh, he's not like being super lyrical, is Kendrick knows how to say things in a way and deliver things that it becomes catchy. How many people on TikTok are using I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk, the way that, like, that became a trending thing. I
actually learned a few things from him. I'm sorry, go ahead, continue.
The certified lover boy, certified pedophile.
Dude, in my head, I just hear certified pedophile.
I'm gonna fuck him up.
I actually like learned a few things. I took notes during this. Is like, and it's something I've noticed about Kendrick in the past, but never really thought of like, well, why don't like I
He might
try
be one
it
of the
or
best writers of all time.
Oh, 100%. And even performers, like we're saying, like his inflections, the way he makes a line that in and of itself might not go that hard, but the way he says it, makes it go hard. Because, like, let's be honest, like, because I always thought this. My left hook just went viral. Is like it's not that hard of a line. Like, it's pretty good, but it's like, if that was just a bar in a song, no one would really care. But it's that fucking my left hook just went viral. Yeah, like he fucking kills it. Yeah, his inflections are insane. And fucking he did the same exact thing with the best line of the diss, which is the probably A minor. You know, like
Yep.
Stuck in everyone's head immediately. He knows how to fucking find those little. And yeah, I was literally taking notes. I was like, man, why? Like, you really, if you make, especially with like rap and hip hop, if you make those inflections fun and memorable, it actually it alleviates the amount of work you have to do writing wise. Because it's like, if you can make that catchy and fun, if you have a good line, it'll make it even fucking better.
Yep. There's something I want you to do. If you have time to try it right now, because I don't think it would be long. But if not, you could always try it later. Listen to "We Gon' Be Alright" by Kendrick,
I feel like
and
I've heard that song.
just try counting the measures. I want you to.
Oh, is it like an offbeat song or something?
Like
Or
where
right.
where it's supposed to start. I think that was.
Yeah, that intro is crazy. It's like those horns. It's hard to even keep track of the tempo.
There's so much happening. Yeah, where you're supposed to come in at the natural. I think it was like. Oh, and this is where I wish I knew more about, like, music. And maybe if Skillshare wanted to sponsor us, I could learn more. But they were talking about the way that Kendrick can come in between on beats, that he can come in on specific measures, and he just thinks about songs in an entirely different way. It's so fascinating.
Yeah, and because and honestly, even when it comes to stuff like that, like, he also could be using like recording tricks where it's like, let's say the beat is like, how do I put this? Like, let's say the beat is off rhythm a little bit, but overall on the track, there's like a 4/4 structure he can rap on.
Yeah.
He can have like the metronome playing over that beat. That's the correct rap measures while that kind of offbeat track is playing.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
So he knows like when to come in at the exact right time. But even then, like, that doesn't make it easy necessarily, because like sometimes you're coming in on the half beat of a measure. So it's like you have to come in halfway through the 2 clicks of the metronome. It's just like, yeah, he's crazy impressive with everything he does. And he absolutely, it's like he put a curse on Drake or something. It's like Drake is just spiraling at this point. Kind of crazy. All right.
But Kendrick is just, I'm interested to see what Kendrick's next album, what that content is.
Yeah, I hope he includes some of the tracks that he meant to release for this diss that never got to see the light of day. Hope there's like extra tracks on the album, that he hides in there, because he was bragging that he had 10, which I believe he did, and we only got 3. So I really want to hear those other 7.
Because I can't even imagine if you got that much. What if you're coming out with the PDF files, like, as your second thing that you're hitting him with, like, what else do you have?
Yeah, no, that's Jesus. But all right, we better wrap this up because it's getting a little late here. All right, is there anything you want to leave the beautiful people with here today before we say goodbye?
Be sure to always thank you.
BSTA. That's what I always say.
That's all you can do.
And on that note, thank you for watching the Neon Valley Podcast. This has been another incredible, incredulous, incomparable episode of the podcast. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to join that Discord and our Reddit, r/Neon Valley Pod. You can check us over out on Patreon if you want to help support us. Extra little tidbits. We try to get the episodes on there early when we can. And all right, guys, we really appreciate you coming out today and listening to our funny little show, our stupid little silly show we got here. funny guys.
This is the silliest little show.
I was originally going to call the show Two Silly Guys. I thought that
Two silly guys.
the Two Silly Guys. I thought that would have been a good name, but we landed on Neon Valley.
Silly boys.
See you guys in the next one. Bye.